Now at 9, voters in Oklahoma today hitting the polls for primary elections. Plus, City of Pittsburgh discussing the design of its new water treatment plant. And protesters in Joplin gather to show support for abortion rights.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Oklahoma voters have chosen their party nominees for some regional and statewide offices. We have results from today's primary races. We begin with the Republican nomination for governor. No surprise here, incumbent Governor Kevin Stitt wins among Republicans. In the Democratic race for governor, State Superintendent Joy Hoffmeister is ahead right now of former State Senator Connie Johnson. In a U.S. Senate race, incumbent Senator James Lankford gets the Republican nomination as he tries to win another term. 6 Democrats ran the primary for that Senate seat. Madison Horn getting the nomination to face Lankford in November. One other Oklahoma race for you here. Doug Pewitt is leading the Republican nomination for district attorney in Ottawa and Delaware counties. Now, you're going to notice that on one thing we had a graphic, and on another thing we didn't. We're having some technical difficulties tonight. Hope you can understand. So you can find results, more specific results, to other races at KOAMNewsNow.com/elections. We also invite you to download that KOAM News app for election information, including polling places, deadlines, dates, and you can even check to see if you're registered to vote. All right, meteorologist Doug Hedy joining us now. First look at the forecast. It's hot, but we've been through hotter, Doug.
We have. It was smoking hot over the weekend. Of course, we hit 100 degrees officially on Saturday afternoon. Then the temperatures have been pretty good over the past couple days. We are trending back upward, 88 for us today. We just didn't have the humidity, but the humidity will slowly sneak back in over the next couple days. Clear skies, nothing going on out here, so nice and quiet as we go through the overnight hours. Temperatures comfortable, mid to upper 70s for us right now, and it looks like by morning about 61, but 90 tomorrow, so the 90s return. Of course, we're going to look at the rest of the week and into the holiday weekend here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. City of Joplin announced they've hired a new assistant manager. City manager Nick Edwards announced that Tony Robin is going to be taking the position. Robin previously worked for the city. He's held other leadership positions in the community, which Edwards says makes him an asset to the city. Robin is going to move into the role on Monday, July 18th. City of Pittsburgh today hosted a study session to give residents an update on the new wastewater treatment plant that's being built. Ground has been broken on the $40 million project, but construction hasn't started yet. City officials say they have $4 million in funding secure, but are still working on gathering the rest. Officials say the main reason for the change is that current plant is aging.
The biggest part is that it's old. It built in 1952 and added on, but so the biggest part of the plant's over 50 years old to as much as 70 years old.
Construction of the project is expected to finish around 2026. Some protesters hit the streets today in Joplin to express their opposition to last week's Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade. It's one of a number of similar area protests in recent days. They marched from Parr Hill Park to Rangeline.
I'm out here because I'm in a fight for women's rights. I believe that the Supreme Court has taken actions against women, and we need to fight that. And as our First Amendment right, we have the right to do so.
The march started at 12:30 this afternoon. Emergency contraception is flying off shelves in the wake of the action from the U.S. Supreme Court. CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart have all announced they are limiting purchases of over-the-counter morning after pills, such as Plan B. This is because of a fear of running out of supply. So rationing is starting to take place. CVS says their decision is to ensure equitable access, saying they have ample supply of pills right now in a way. These pills prevent ovulation and fertilization from occurring and do not kill a fetus or fertilized egg. It has been called the next possible reproductive battle. The Biden administration responding to the Supreme Court's Roe versus Wade overturn, insisting they are going to do everything they can to make sure women have access to the health care they need. Fox News correspondent Julian Turner explains.
Abortion pills are now widely available online and by mail in all 50 states.
The share of American women seeking abortions via pill is on the rise across the nation. Mifepristone is an FDA-approved hormone drug that accounts for 54% of all abortions in the U.S. today. Within hours of Friday's Supreme Court ruling, the Attorney General announced moves to protect access to this pill, which terminates a pregnancy if taken within 70 days of conception. Merrick Garland writes in part, states may not ban mifepristone based on disagreement with the FDA's expert judgment about its safety and efficacy. Today, the Secretary of Health and Human Services is doubling down.
What we will do at the federal level is make sure we continue to use our federal authorities to make women have access to the health care they need. So we'll continue to make sure that something like medication abortion is made available to all women, regardless of what state they're in.
Last December, the FDA ended a requirement that mifepristone be dispensed in person at clinics and hospitals, allowing doctors to prescribe the drug via telemedicine and mail it to patients, including over state lines. That move sparked pushback from state leaders and others who say the practice is wildly unsafe.
Many times they're doing it unsupervised. It's a medical procedure. And so I do believe that there should be a physician supervision in place when that is being conducted by any individual.
Pro-choice lawmakers, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, say the Dobbs ruling means access to abortion pills is more crucial than ever before.
It also means asking the President of the United States to make abortion as available as possible with the tools he has, including medication abortion.
Looking ahead, this fight over abortion pills moves to the states, where a whole slate are now considering following Louisiana's lead. The governor there has clamped down on mail-order mifepristone, making it illegal to send the drug across state lines. In Washington, Jillian Turner, Fox News.
Ghislaine Maxwell today sentenced to 20 years in prison by a Manhattan federal court. She was convicted of helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse underage girls between 1994 and 2004. Maxwell delivered a statement saying she empathized with the victims, adding that Epstein fooled all of those in his orbit. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Carl Morton served in the U.S. Army. Native of Quapaw, Oklahoma, Morton was stationed in Germany, Korea, also Vietnam. We are proud to thank and salute Master Sergeant Carl Morton. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Hady's next with a complete look at the forecast. A little bit later, flight cancellations continue to cause problems ahead of the holiday weekend.
Huge savings.
Well, of course, it actually turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. Temperatures not that bad as we did go into the mid to upper 80s for afternoon highs, but the humidity was pretty good, which is always nice to have in the summer months. When you don't have much humidity, it feels pretty good. Anywhere from low to mid 70s to still a few upper 70s out there, but I think most of us will drop back near 60 later on tonight. So very nice, pleasant night, very pleasant morning once again. Unfortunately, the humidity is going to start to creep back into the forecast as we go through the next few days. Let's check it out right now. Most of our dew points, which measures the humidity out there, they're kind of sitting right around 60. This is a pretty good indication of where our overnight low is going to be. So we're still in that kind of pleasant, not bad category, but this is going to start to creep up as we go through the next few days. Let's go outside. 7th range line currently sitting at 78. Southerly winds, light humidity at 40%. Clear skies. Nothing going on here. In fact, nothing's going on across the entire Central Plains. You have to travel southwest, north, or east to find any rain across the region. A little bit of tropical moisture. We're going to see some of this back north and combine with our next storm system. This is going to be kind of late Friday into Saturday, but it'll at least give us chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms by that point in time. Until then, we stay dry. So let's work through the forecast. We're going to stop at 6 o'clock in the morning. Most of us right around 60. Quick warm up. When you have the lower humidity, temperatures warm up real quickly through the 60s, 70s, mid 80s by the noon hour. And I think most of us will top out right around 90. But again, this is a better 90. It's a lower humidity 90 degrees. A little bit higher than what we saw today, but still not bad. 61 to start, 85 by noon, high of 90. Southerly winds are going to be light at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, we drop back lower 60s once again, so it feels pretty good. Let's go into Thursday, a little bit hotter. We go into lower 90s, 4 highs, plus the humidity starts to creep back in. Heat indices tomorrow are going to match our temperature. That's always good news. They're going to creep up a little bit, mid 90s by the time we head into Thursday, and then of course it's back by the time we head into the holiday weekend. All right, 90 tomorrow, 93 on Thursday, 95 on Friday, kicking off that holiday weekend. Now, we do have chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially late Friday into Saturday as a front kind of sneaks in. So we do have those chances Friday, Saturday. I think they're fairly low on Sunday as our front lifts back toward the north. Look at the heat. And then on Monday, the 4th itself, very slight chances for thunderstorms. So if you do have outdoor activities, keep them, of course. Overall, looks like a pretty good holiday weekend, but typically, as July is, it's going to be hot and humid.
Yeah, we were just talking about how scorched the lawns are.
Yeah, we need some rain.
Yeah. All right, man, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Record number of Americans expected to hit those roads this holiday weekend. That's according to the annual 4th of July travel forecast from AAA. The automotive group is predicting 42 million Americans are going to take a road trip 50 miles or farther for the 4th of July holiday weekend. Travel experts recommend anyone traveling on Thursday or Friday starting driving early or late in the day. We just heard about those millions of Americans expected to travel this 4th of July holiday weekend. Plenty of cancellations and delays also likely. Fox's Chris Foster has these details.
A lot of people are going to be thrown for a loop by this.
It's a travel nightmare for many Americans, with thousands of flight cancellations and delays seen across the country, and the situation's only getting worse. All this ahead of what's expected to be a busy holiday weekend.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen in my 30 years. We went from the worst of times to the best of times, and then management has created the worst of times.
Surge of passengers returning to flying this summer. On Sunday, TSA experiencing its highest checkpoint volume since February of 2020, and AAA expects more than 3.5 million people to take to the skies this weekend. As travelers brace for a bumpy ride at the airport, airlines are pointing the blame at the Federal Aviation Administration. The trade group Airlines for America saying air traffic control staffing challenges are leading to traffic restrictions. The FAA claiming it's added additional controllers and routes to help remedy the situation. But some pilots say the blame lies with the airlines for overscheduling flights when there isn't enough staff.
When people buy tickets, they're not buying tickets fingers crossed. They're buying it as a contract to ensure you're doing everything you can to make sure that flight goes. This is bad business. It's poor practice in scheduling, and it's wearing us thin.
You've got both sides shifting blame. The losers here are consumers.
Travelers are also facing an increase in the price of plane tickets, which have risen nearly 37% from just a year ago. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Coming up, that train crash northwest of Kansas City, Missouri.
We're learning more about the heroic passengers who saved lives after Monday's deadly Amtrak train crash. I'm Garrett Tenney in Mendon, Missouri, with the details coming up.
More help is on the way for mothers and infants in need. The Department of Health and Human Services says 2 more flights of baby formula are scheduled for this week. Officials say that by July 3rd, the Operation Fly Formula program is going to have completed 37 flights, delivered more than 37 million 8-ounce bottles worth of product. Flights this week are going to be arriving from Australia, bound for LA, and from the Netherlands, bound for Newark in New Jersey. Federal investigators on the scene of yesterday's deadly Amtrak train crash in Missouri. Today, we're learning more about the heroic passengers who saved lives. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney has more.
Moments after an Amtrak train derailed in Mendon, Missouri, a group of Boy Scouts jumped into action.
The adrenaline kind of kicked in, and something took over, and I just felt like I knew what to do.
More than a dozen scouts were returning from a backpacking trip on Monday when their train hit a truck. Several rail cars toppled onto their sides. The group of teenagers used first aid training to help passengers until first responders arrived.
I kind of just got out of my seat, got my shoes on, and started opening a window and getting our scouts out first and trying to get phones to call 911.
Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board arrived on scene today. They'll be looking at the train's black box as well as the intersection where the crash happened. It's an uncontrolled crossing, meaning there's no lights or gates to let people know a train is coming. A local farmer says he had alerted county officials to the possible dangers.
I tried to prevent this. I'd done everything I knew to do in my power. I've talked to numerous people, and anyway, I'm just really saddened that I wasn't able to do more.
The incident left at least 4 people dead and 150 people injured. Those who survived say they're still trying to process what happened.
I'm just really fortunate to be here right now.
It is hard to comprehend that I made it out okay with no injuries when the lady across the aisle from me actually had to get care flighted out.
Just a few days ago, 3 people were killed in another Amtrak train crash in Northern California, which again involved an uncontrolled crossing. In Mendon, Missouri, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
Coming up, trying to remain strong.
President Biden meets with NATO allies as the war in Ukraine rages on. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have details straight ahead.
We're here to have.
People tend to become friends with people who smell like them. Repeat that. People who smell like each other are more likely to become friends. That's the finding of a study published in the journal Science Advances. What do you think about that, huh? True or not? Researchers in Israel used computers to analyze the body odors of a group of strangers using the smells data. They were able to accurately predict which ones would hit it off when they were introduced. The researchers say it suggests humans rely on that nose to help them make social decisions, relying on that nose instead of the brain. I'm teasing about that last part. President Biden in Europe trying to buck up NATO allies, keep them united as Ukraine's war with Russia drags on. Sanctions aren't a quick fix, and the jolt in energy prices has stung the U.S. and European economies. But the alliance seems committed to confronting the Russian security threat by beefing up its defense. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively reports now from Washington.
As Russia continues its bombardment of Ukraine, hitting the shopping mall in Kremenchuk with long-range missiles, President Biden is meeting with the NATO allies in Europe, vowing the alliance will stand strong against Vladimir Putin.
Together, the new commitments will constitute an impressive display of ally unity and resolve.
But behind the scenes, 4 months into the conflict, the U.S. and its NATO partners are feeling the strain of pumping billions of dollars worth of weapons into Ukraine and trying to punish Russia with economic sanctions that are helping make gas prices soar worldwide.
You predicted it for a while. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt you.
On Monday, French President Emmanuel Macron buttonholed President Biden outside a G7 meeting and briefed him about failed attempts to get Arab nations to substantially increase oil production. Ukrainian officials worry those economic pressures, combined with recent Russian victories, could mean allies will lower expectations that Ukraine can win back lost territory.
Shrinking of Ukraine essentially means appeasing Putin and going back to the 1938 practice of appeasing dictators like Hitler was.
President Biden is set to travel to Saudi Arabia next month to make his own attempt to encourage Arab nations to increase oil production in the face of $5 a gallon gas prices here at home. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Chick-fil-A figuring out how to make those drive-thrus even faster. Gonna hear how next. Getting that Chick-fil-A even faster. Fast food chain is testing an express drive-through lane. It's only customers who order ahead through the Chick-fil-A app. The chain's drive-through express is being tested right now at 60 restaurants. Could expand to more restaurants next year. Nothing against other fast food chains, but yeah, Chick-fil-A, their drive-through, they got it going on, right? The only other place that is exactly the same, I would say, as speediness, Portillo's in Chicago. Those of you from the Chicago area, you know what I mean. Portillo's. Italian beef sandwich. Oh. All right, 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. A historic Southwest Missouri mercantile store going up for auction. Plus,
a horrific discovery. 50 migrants found dead inside an abandoned tractor trailer. I'm Griff Jenkins in Eagle Pass, Texas. I'll have more on that investigation coming up.
Promotion 14.
After 129 years, a tiny Southwest Missouri General store is going to a liquidation auction. The store is located in Wentworth, Missouri. KOAM's Segun Bamadele was at the auction and has more on this story.
After serving the community of Wentworth for 129 years, John M. Sweeney, the former owner of Pelsus Mercantile, has decided to retire and sell the century-old store.
Well, I have antiques from the beginning of the store all the way to the present day, and well, I figured that would help me sell the store, and so I can, retire comfortably.
John also tells us how the store was acquired by his aunt.
My aunt, Agnes Sweeney Pelsu, had a grocery store across the street from there in 1901 till it closed in '49. She married Pete Pelsu, and then they joined forces here at the store.
John says over the years, the buying power of big corporations has had an impact on his business.
Corporations, they had a big buying power, and that, you know, I can't buy that much anymore, and so, because everything's dated, so you have to watch that. Years back, nothing was dated, so everybody, you know, we had good business. We take in, you know, quite a bit, but you know, it just kind of slowed down, and you know, that's I have more time on my hands, and I'd rather be waiting on customers.
The new owner of the store, Mona Robertson, says it is a relief to have bought the store.
It's a relief. Our father just passed away on June the 17th, and he spent his life dedicated to this town, and it means everything to have bought this in memory of my father.
In Wentworth, Shagbamdele, KOAM News.
A lot of history. The store was established back in 1893. Soon going to be a new senior living facility in Carthage, Missouri. MBL Development hosts a groundbreaking ceremony along with the city and Chamber of Commerce for the future Carthage Senior Villas Phase 2. Construction is expected to finish next summer. It's going to consist of 38 units with 2 bedrooms and a community building.
There's a real big need within your county for senior housing, 62 and above. There's a 63% chance that most seniors will need additional housing. So it's a real big need in this county because of demographics.
The villas are going to be located at the northwest corner of Fur and Chapel Roads. Health officials with the city of Joplin say they're seeing a high rate of new COVID cases recently. Now, officials say at the peak of the pandemic, Joplin was seeing 165 new cases a day. We're not near that now. Thankfully, there's just 22 new cases a day. Still, officials say we should be cautious.
As to why we're upticking, my assumption is that it's a number of things. One being that the cautiousness and the protections are not in place as much as what they once were.
According to the CDC, 58% of the U.S. population lives in an area with a medium or high COVID-19 community level. People in Joplin have a new hands-on museum for science and math exploration. Cool as that, the Creative Learning Alliance in Joplin held this ribbon-cutting ceremony for their new building on South Main Street. Members of the Joplin, Carl Junction Chamber of Commerce has joined together to see firsthand how fun these activities can be. All activities are hands-on and for kids and adults.
I am the mom of a 10-year-old, and I want him to grow up in a region and a community that has these sorts of fun things where he can play but learn, hands-on, real-world learning and having fun at the same time.
To learn more about the Creative Learning Alliance, you can visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Some Oklahoma residents going to pay more on their utility bills. The city of Miami is raising its electric rates for customers. The increase stems from rising natural gas prices. As a result, GRDA is raising its energy rates. The city gets its power supply from the GRDA, so the city is also raising rates. Some teens across 21 counties in Missouri visited Joplin for an extra special field trip today. KCU Medical School hosted the Missouri AHEC Science and Health MASH Camp. KCU faculty led activities, demonstrations, and tours for students throughout campus. Demonstrations included dental saliva tests, health disparity exercises, dissections, and osteopathic manipulative treatment.
With these high school students, it's great because they're getting into it, and I have the ability to jump in and help increase their motivation, give them encouragement, and help them grow into a medical career hopefully someday.
The Missouri American Healthcare Education Center provides community outreach to all area high schools and pre-health professions programs. Some 23 million Californians are going to be getting inflation relief checks through the mail. It's all thanks to a new budget deal reached by Governor Gavin Newsom and state lawmakers Sunday. Under the deal, single taxpayers earning less than $75,000 and couples making less than $150,000 will be getting a $350 check. The number of dead increasing today. This after more than 40 migrants were discovered dead yesterday inside a tractor trailer. Fox News correspondent Griff Jenkins is in Texas with more on the horrific discovery.
Pray for the deceased, the ailing, the families.
At least 50 migrants confirmed dead after being trapped inside a sweltering tractor trailer in what appears to be a human smuggling attempt. The abandoned truck discovered Monday in San Antonio, Texas, where temperatures outside have risen above 100 degrees. Officials saying there were no signs of water or working air conditioning inside the truck. This incident comes as law enforcement continues to struggle with a surge of migrants illegally crossing the southern border.
There's been increasing volumes over the last 6 months, 12 months. Related to the policies.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott placing the blame on President Biden, saying these deaths are a result of his open border policies. Former DHS Secretary Chad Wolf echoing that sentiment.
Migrants are putting their lives in the hands of smugglers and traffickers and others that don't care about their lives because they need to get to the U.S. and they know that if they get there, they're not going to be removed.
President Biden releasing a statement Tuesday saying in part, this incident underscores the need to go after the multi-billion-dollar criminal smuggling industry preying on migrants and leading to far too many innocent deaths. 3 people have been taken into custody as the Department of Homeland Security continues their investigation. In Eagle Pass, Texas, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
A bit later, another shortage of another something.
Your 4th of July celebrations could lack a whole lot of sparkle this year. I'm Kevin Cork with a look at the firework shortages impacting communities across the country. That's coming right up.
Another beautiful day for us today. Temperatures mainly into the upper 80s, but the humidity has been low, so we'll definitely take that. This is what we have seen over the past 3 days. We are going to get a hotter trend as we go through the week, but in general, not bad until we get into the holiday weekend. Most of us now mid to upper 70s. We'll drop back to about 60 a little bit later on tonight. Good news here is our dew points measures how much humidity. Isn't that bad? You can see 50s to near 60. So if we look at our scale, refreshing, pleasant to not bad, but it will slowly start to creep up as we go through the next few days. Let's go outside. 7th and Rangeline sitting at 78, south winds light, humidity at 40%. Pretty much clear skies. Plenty of sunshine for us today. Plenty of clear skies as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. You actually have to travel pretty far off toward the south before you find any showers and thunderstorms. A little bit of tropical moisture across the Gulf of Mexico will combine with this next wave out across the northern parts of the Rockies. This should give us at least chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms by the time we head into late Friday and then also heading into the weekend. That's just the beginning wave of that next little wave. All right, near 60 for us tonight. Mid 80s by noon, should go right around 90. So the 90s are returning, but the good news here is not much in the way of humidity for us tomorrow. 61 in the morning, 85 by noon, high temp at 90. Southerly winds, they're going to be light at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, back down into lower 60s for overnight low. So another refreshing night, but we kind of step up that heat a little bit by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. Plus the humidity slowly gets reintroduced into the forecast, and then we drop back down into the lower 70s by the time we head into Friday morning. All right, heat indices not that bad tomorrow. They're going to match the temperature. They do creep up a little bit by Thursday, so the way it's going to feel to your skin, kind of mid 90s across the region. Let's go into late Friday, heating up mid 90s, but here's a cold front slides in Friday night, giving us chances to get some scattered showers and thunderstorms in here Friday into Saturday morning, and then again a few more popping up as we head into the afternoon. Sunday, the front kind of lifts back toward the north. Overall, pretty good. Little bit of moisture once we go into the 4th of July, very slight chance we could get a pop-up thunderstorm, but I think in general, the holiday weekend's looking pretty good. Just hot and humid. 90 tomorrow, 93 on Thursday, 95 on Friday, 93 Saturday, 97 on the 4th, near 100 again by next Tuesday.
So it was so nice to get those cooler temperatures.
No, past 3 days have been fantastic.
Enjoyed them while they lasted.
I know it.
Okay, thank you. Hey, so I don't know if you were driving by the studio today. If you did, you saw that. Crews removed the old antenna from the top of our tower. Today, the new antenna, weighing 12.5 tons, went up the tower. For now, we're broadcasting from a temporary antenna lower on the tower as we prepare to transition to a new, more powerful transmitter. Now, as many of you have already figured out, our signal might be a little glitchy for some of you for the time being, but when this is all finished, going to be broadcasting with more power than ever before. Check it out in progress anytime on our website, komnewsnow.com/power. Coming up, today's testimony in the January 6th investigation.
Stunning testimony from a former Trump White House staffer about what took place on and in the days leading up to January 6th. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on the hearings coming up.
January 6th committee held a hearing today on last year's Capitol riot. Lawmakers heard testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, an aide to former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. She revealed a number of dramatic revelations into former President Trump's pressure campaign to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has details now from Washington.
In today's surprise hearing, the star witness, an aide to former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, revealed some stunning outbursts from former President Trump after his aides tried to rein him in on January 6th.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Former White House staffer Cassidy Hutchinson testifying before the January 6th committee Tuesday. Hutchinson served as an aide to Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and said he was aware of the threat days before the Capitol riot.
Said something to the effect of, there's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know, things might get real bad on January 6th.
The committee replayed her prior private depositions where she said a White House official told former President Trump about weapons at his rally that day and suggested the president had no issue with his supporters marching to the Capitol armed.
Just to be clear, Ms. Hutchinson, is it your understanding that the president wanted to take the mags away and said that the armed individuals were not there to hurt him?
That's a fair assessment.
Hutchinson described in dramatic detail how Trump demanded to be driven to the Capitol after his speech and lunged at his security detail and tried to grab the steering wheel from him when he was told he could not go.
The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing.
Trump blasted Hutchinson on his social media account saying he doesn't know her and called her bad news. In Washington, Malda Rivera, Fox News.
Back with more news after this. You ever put your phone on vibrate or silent at night? You know, leave me alone. I need my beauty sleep. Well, a new study suggests putting your phone on silent mode or vibrate can actually trigger stress. Researchers from Penn State University found people who silence their devices tend to use them more. The team surveyed 138 iPhone users specifically. 42% of people chose to put their phone on vibrate, while only 8.7% chose to silence it. And they found those participants who put their phones on mute spent the most time on their phones and social media compared to those who didn't. They also found that people who muted notifications had increased feelings of stress. Got to turn my iPad off of silent. Maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. A number of cities and towns nationwide are canceling or even adjusting their standard fireworks displays this 4th of July. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has more on what's causing those dazzling shows to fizzle out.
Across the country, firework shortages are igniting explosive problems for the upcoming 4th of July holiday, as pandemic-era labor shortages, supply chain issues, inflation, and dry weather are all making fireworks expensive, hard to get, and dangerous to use.
The last 2 years, there was lines out the door. We don't have a lot of returning customers. The guys who did call me said they're not able to purchase this year due to economic reasons.
The cost to ship the fireworks from overseas is also sky high.
Some of the prices went up 30%.
This small business owner says it used to cost him about $10,000 to ship a container of fireworks over from China. Now it's more than $40,000, and that doesn't include the price of the fireworks themselves. Other suppliers are having trouble getting the stock they need because of lingering supply chain issues out in California.
Theirs leave Long Beach and have to get on the rail, and the rail is backed up.
Meanwhile, fireworks used for town and city celebrations typically contain higher amounts of explosives and require professionals to set them off. But
there's a shortage of those groups right now.
The U.S. Drought Monitor also shows abnormal to exceptional drought in areas of the Midwest, Southeast, Southwest, and West. And with fireworks producing heat at more than 1,000 degrees, it can prove disastrous. Firefighters say if you're going to set off fireworks, make sure to always do it sober and never ignite them on dry grass. And for what it's worth, be sure to always have a fire extinguisher ready. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Coming up, going to hear about Russell Crowe's new movie, Hollywood Nation, coming your way. An Oscar nominee launching a new production company. A TV legend joins the cast of a popular crime drama and more. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
Burnett gets a call from Saul. Crowe exorcises evil spirits, and Banderas launches a new company in the Hollywood Nation. Antonio Banderas and composer Andrew Lloyd Webber team up to expand live theater to a wider audience. The duo will develop Spanish-language theater, musicals, and live entertainment shows through their new production company, Amigos para Siempre. They will also adapt several of Webber's Broadway musicals in Spanish, including The Phantom of the Opera, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Evita. Russell Crowe will face off with Satan and his demons for his next role. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the actor will star in the supernatural thriller The Pope's Exorcist. He will play real-life Italian priest Father Gabriele Amorth, who performed more than 100,000 exorcisms for the Vatican.
Who's here to see Saul Goodman?
And Better Call Saul has recruited a TV legend. Carol Burnett will guest star as a character named Marion in the 6th and final season of the hit AMC series. In addition to Burnett, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul will also make an appearance, reprising their Breaking Bad roles. The second half of Season 6 premieres July 11th.
No one knows what we're doing except for us.
In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Man, that Russell Crowe movie seems intense, huh? All right, speaking about exorcisms, sweet dreams. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a baby white rhino at Cuba's National Zoo. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.